Kwa sasa naarifiwa kwamba waziri wa leba Simon Chelugui anataka kuzungumza ama anazungumza na wanahabari. Hebu tusikize ni yapi ambayo anayesema.
2020 with a sudden loss of about $3.4 trillion. This will translate to loss reduction in consumption of goods and services, and in return affects prospects for business and economies. Certain groups will be disproportionately affected by this crisis, which would increase inequality and therefore leading to affecting the less protected and low-paid jobs, particularly youth, women, and people living with disabilities. This country has also been benefiting from international remittances, which has been the highest contributor to our forex. This again is likely to be affected from the destination countries like the European Union, Americas, the Gulf region are all going to witness a reduction in these remittances. And therefore, what is ahead of us is real. Our economy will not be the same. And tourism, which has climbed in the last 2 years in terms of forex contribution to a total of 167 billion last year, is equally going to be affected. And therefore, Treasury, from their reports, have also reviewed the projected growth from approximately 6.1% to now a conservative figure of 3.6%. So to highlight, in terms of our economy, tourism sector, manufacturing sector, the agricultural sector, transport sector, wholesale and retail sector, and diaspora employment are going to be affected. A number of mitigating measures have been proposed, but we have allowed the social partners to go and internalize those proposals with a view of coming up with practical suggestions that will help our country move forward, that will reduce the pain. And we have agreed, we will agree on a timeline so that we deal with post-corona. God will save us. We all know that tough times don't last. Tough people last. And we believe the social partners will be able to come up with practical, workable solutions that will help us move forward. And in conclusion, I wish to thank first our government, our president, for taking urgent and immediate leadership role, and all the ministers and ministries for also taking steps. I continue to urge every Kenyan who has traveled or has been in contact with any victims to please go to a nearby hospital to isolate themselves so that we minimize the effect of this problem on our people. We have been given various guidelines, and I want to urge every Kenyan to follow. So before I finish, I want just to ask two social partners to make one comment, that is FKE and KOTU, to make a few comments on the same, that just to show that we are all aligned as a country on where we want to go. Thank you very much. Yeah, you want, come here. The mics.
Okay.
As the Federation of Kenya Employers, we fully support the actions that the government has put in place to help contain the spread of the coronavirus. From the beginning, when the head of state went on air and gave directives on steps that Kenyans should take, it became clear to employers that we needed to take unusual measures. Some of these measures include sending our employees home to work from home where they can, or sending them on leave so that we reduce the numbers of people coming to work and present on the job on a daily basis. This has meant that business actually scales down its operations and also enhances the health and safety measures at the workplace. We've issued guidelines to staff to help them cope working from home. Investments have had to be made in ICT and other equipment to facilitate those who can work from home. And as we speak, quite a number of people are not coming to work, and there are discussions about how to treat that downtime. We recognize as leaders in the labor sector that we will have to adopt unusual measures to be able to cope together as a country with this unprecedented situation. We are in agreement as labor sector leaders that there are steps that we have to take to manage labor relations in this scenario, and this will call for implementation of some of the issues that the CES has outlined. We, on the other hand, as employers, also realize that we will need support from government, as we support government as well, to help businesses cope with the intention of protecting jobs. We do not want Kenyans to lose jobs unnecessarily. We want them to continue earning the monies that they earn when they are at work and in employment. This means that we have to find some money to be able to manage payrolls, because there is a reduction in the outputs, in the level of operations, and already we are seeing a lot of stress in the key sectors that run this economy. Amongst those initiatives we've proposed is the creation of a specific fund to cushion industry from the impact of the coronavirus and the reduction in production. We are looking at statutory contributions and considering whether those could be either scaled down or reduced or withheld. Areas like pay as you earn, where employees are taxed. We have made proposals to government to review that and perhaps delay it. Contributions to pensions such as NSSF during this period. We've looked at VAT and the level of tax that is currently charged at 16%. Proposed that could be reduced so that business is not spending so much money on statutory contributions, but is able to contain some of the money to run the operations that it normally does. To help Kenyans cope, we will have to ensure as leaders working together with government, manufacturers, that there is steady supply of essential goods and services, that people have access to food, people are able to move where they have to from one place to another. We realize that the measures that have been taken to contain the numbers of people in public transport means that the transport sector is going to charge more, and we've discussed possibilities of looking at that to reduce the heavy burden on the employees. These are conversations that will continue because we continue to gauge the situation as it evolves, and we will remain ready to continue consulting and supporting government so that we reduce the pain and also reduce the drop in the production levels, and the economic indicators remain close to the initial projection of 6.1% or 3.6%, so that we are able to recover quickly once we overcome the pandemic.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me join my social partner, Jacqueline, in also congratulating the government for the measures that they have put in place to contain this particular virus. We really, Kenyans down there, as mentioned earlier, people are worried, really worried about this particular virus. And more so now as labor representative, you will agree with me that we are the ones bearing the brunt. It is serious, but one thing that we are happy about is our engagement with the the employers, and by extension, the government. The fact that the CS has summoned us over here to discuss this particular issue, to us is a big plus. And we have assured the CS and the government at large that we are going to support all measures that will make sure that we come out of this in the long run. That is the post-coronavirus. As we speak,
We are happy with the employers. So far, our labor unions have been able to sit down with employers. They've been able to agree on a raft of issues to really mitigate against the impact of this particular virus. Issues of shift, issues of workers being on leave. We appreciate all that. But we are appealing to the government to also up its game, escalate it further, because as we speak now, this particular morning, employees who are paying, let's say, 100 shillings for transport have ended up paying almost 3-4 times. What does that mean? It means that it is impacting directly to the worker and you people. And that is why now, when we are seated here, we are aware we want to come up with a solution. The government has come up with a raft of proposals, measures to mitigate. And what we are saying, we've heard you, CS, we've heard you as a government. Give us time, we go sit down and come up with a position. Yesterday, let me give an example of the agriculture sector. I don't know whether some of you watched Al Jazeera, and it was shocking, really shocking, to see flowers being destroyed, completely destroyed. What does that mean? During Mother's Day, imagine. What does that mean? What impact does it have to the workers in the plantation? Virtually, will they continue working? They can't. Will the employer sustain them? No. And that is why now, together with the employers, we are saying the government needs to rein in. The government needs to come in and also cushion the workers. We know the government, all is not well. The economy has not been doing very well. But it calls for all parties now, because this is going to hit all of us. And as workers' representative, what I can authoritatively say is that we are ready to sit down, we are ready to strike a balance and see so that our economy can continue. As we are talking about, there are things that will also want the government to assist us. There is a stimulus package that we are told that is there. But that stimulus package, we want the government now to go out of its way to also have the component of labor. All along in the past, the stimulus package, the government has always not taken into consideration the labor sector. And this.
Na mtazamaji, ni wadau hao katika sekta ya leba wakitoa kauli zao kuhusiana na athari ya virusi vya korona katika sekta ya leba na kuahidi kuweka mikakati ambayo itawalinda wafanyikazi na kazi zao.